Sometimes the world feels heavy. The constant stream of external stresses, conflicts, disasters, uncertainty can feel overwhelming. And yet, amidst it all, there are moments of peace waiting for us. We find it in the quiet rhythm of everyday life, the changing of seasons, the migration of birds across the sky, or if you're lucky enough to live near the coast, the endless beauty of waves crashing against the shore. These moments remind us that even in chaos, there's still calm. In the sound of waves, we can hear something timeless, a reminder that life, like water, continues to move and flow. Today, I invite you to join me in capturing the moment in time, using loose, expressive strokes to let go of whatever burdens we carry. Let's embrace the beauty around us and find our calm in the simple act of painting. Today, I'll be using a few of my favorite tools: a mop brush, an all-purpose calligraphy brush, paints chosen from white night set. I've got 2 cups of water ready, along with the towel to keep things manageable. A piece of 300-pound cotton cold-press paper is taped down to a Gira board, set at a slight angle with a piece of wood. A water spritzer is close by, just in case I want to soften any edges, and of course my brush stand to keep my brushes within reach. I'm going to step aside for a moment and let you get lost in the rhythm of the painting. I'll keep the narration quiet, guiding those of you following along with simple captions. Here you see me applying a mix of ultramarine blue and Madder Lake light towards the horizon, where the sky meets the sea. If you followed my work for a while, you know often I walk the line between abstraction and representation. Back in the spring, I wanted to paint an ocean scene, and I even made a quick sketch back then, hoping to revisit it on a larger scale sometime in May. But, as life often does, it took me in different directions. I dealt with a few viral illnesses that set me back, having a suppressed immune system. On the other hand, I was fortunate enough to travel to Kyrgyzstan and see my family and friends there, and in September we moved to a new house. All of this, along with everything happening in the world, dulled my creative spark. I found myself stuck in a cycle of reading the news and worrying about both local and global events. But when I finally felt the urge to paint again, my emotional state had shifted. It changed the way I approached the canvas, the way my brush moved, reflecting the unpredictability and power of the water. The strokes you see now are bold and expressive, capturing the sea in a storm, much like the world around us. Here you see me playing with various hues, something that came in the moment. I followed my instincts, laying down carmine towards the foreground, then adding warmer colors like yellow ochre, blending with the other hues I've mentioned. Occasionally, I reached for yellow-green to hint at the presence of abundant plants along the Pacific coastline. It's a spontaneous process, letting the colors flow and blend, much like the coastline itself, full of life and unpredictable beauty. time to set the scene with rocky formations in the foreground. I'm using all the colors here, playing with their consistency and temperature. At this stage, I'm loading my brush with more concentrated mix, less water, more pigment, to really bring out the boldness and texture of the rocks. Each stroke adds depth and contrast, grounding the scene as the rocks emerge against the swirling ocean. As we witness so much grief and suffering from conflicts and devastating weather events, I often find myself reflecting on how to stay balanced, especially for my child who is growing up in this uncertain world. I think about how he might learn to be resilient amidst it all. For me, it's the small everyday things that help keep me grounded. Seeing a ray of sunshine, the leaves changing colors, little creatures preparing for winter. These moments give me a sense of stability, reminding me that, in its own way, nature follows its patterns year after year. I hope my child will find his own ways of navigating the noise, not getting swept up in the constant stream of negative news. And for you, who may also be seeking balance, I wish you find your own grounding, those little moments that bring peace and joy, even in uncertain times. You just saw me mix the darkest darks here. This earthy deep brown will help me anchor the scene and suggest rocky formations. If you have been watching closely, you probably noticed I've also changed the consistency of my paint. It's much thicker now, with very little water. This shift in consistency plays a role in how we build up the painting. I've talked about this before, covering the different stages of paint consistency, from watery to milky to creamy, and how timing the color application makes a difference in watercolor painting. If you are curious to dive deeper into that topic, I've linked a video where I explain it in more detail in the upper right corner of this video or the video description below. Here you see me depict the waves crashing against the rocks, and the rocks stay steady, unfazed by the relentless winds and powerful water. It reflects how some of us try to stay grounded when life gets tough, holding our own in the storm. But over time, even the strongest rocks begin to change, slowly worn by the waves. Some may even break down entirely and become sand. As you watch the waves crash and the turbulent seas unfold in this painting, you'll notice two gulls fighting to find their balance in the wind. They are small in the vastness of the storm, but they persist, riding the gusts and currents. It reminds me of how we too navigate life's uncertainties, trying to stay grounded when the world feels chaotic. Just like those gulls, we can find balance in our everyday lives by turning to nature. Whether it's observing the changing skies or listening to the sound of the ocean, nature offers us a sense of stability. And just as those birds trust the winds to eventually settle, we can learn to trust the process and be kind to ourselves along the way. Small, manageable steps like taking a moment to breathe or focus on the simple beauty around us can help us weather any storm. The seas will calm and the gulls will find their way out of the storm. In the same way, we can find our own path through life's challenges, with moments of peace and balance along the way. As we bring today's painting to a close, I want to thank you for being here, for watching and for supporting my work. If this video touched you, I encourage you to subscribe and share this journey with others who love watercolor as much as we do. Let's spread the sense of peace, creativity and balance with those who may need it right now. And if you'd like to learn more, my playlists Watercolor Basics and Watercolor Stories are there for you, thoughtfully crafted for any level, whether you're just starting or have been painting alongside me for a while. Thank you for being part of this journey, my dear friends. I am deeply grateful for your support and your love for watercolors. Until next time, keep painting and remember that no matter how strong the storm is, calm always returns. I love you all, and until next time. Whoa, look at the waves. Whoa.